What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome to Grizz 901, the Grizzlies post-game show that you're all here to see. Tonight we have a completely packed show as we always do. We're coming off of the trade deadline. If you missed the entire show, it was 5 hours of madness. It was awesome, but it was a great show. If you missed all of that, go ahead and check it out another time for sure. But I am very much in the middle and the end. If you want to see me, if you want to see Mark, he's pretty much all over the place. But tonight, we're going to get into the recap, which is mainly the Grizzlies played well. You can take a moral victory in this, and the simple fact that they played well, they showed up, and you can kind of see these glimpses now of what this team might look like in the future. They lose 118-110 to the Bulls. Their game recap is coming up first, and then we're going to try to get into what possibly could be Grizz trivia. But at that point, we don't know how the show is going to go because we do have Jonathan Coachman and Allan Bell coming on at 10 o'clock Central. So in 30 minutes, we have 30 minutes of the show. We're going to get to them. Depending on how long they stay, depending on how we're going to actually do a show afterwards. But all in all, we have a fun show planned. Make sure you hit the comments, especially when they get here. But I have a surprise for you guys. It's not Nate tonight. We brought back Kenny.
Let's go. Let's go. I got the balloons.
We got balloons and everything.
How did I get balloons? Can I breathe? Hold on. Yeah, man.
How did you get balloons?
I don't know how I got balloons, but that was awesome, by the way. That was dope. I'm a big fan of that.
Wow. All right.
Yeah,
so shout out to you, Kenny. This is our first show we've ever done together. And so we've talked obviously a million times, but I kind of have to ask, and I know everybody else is thinking the same thing.
What's that?
What's going on your head, your neck? What is this?
Oh, man. Listen, dude, I've been super busy, man, and I just haven't really had the chance. It's on my list. You see my list. There's my list right there. I haven't had the chance to take my decorations down, and so I'll get to it at some point.
Shout out to Nate.
What happened?
Out, Nate.
What happened?
Listen, I can't hold it together. Usually I can, but my God, the wreath on the head, the lights, it's not Mardi Gras. It's all
those
about
are my Mardi
Nate.
Gras beads. And
Yes,
guess where they came from? They came from Daniel. That's what I'm going to say, baby. Woo!
Grizz Girl wants to know, is that Nate's wreath? Yes. I will just answer yes. But listen, like I said, we have a jam-packed show, so let's go ahead and get into a lot of it. As you all know, the comment section is sponsored by Streetcars of Memphis. If you have a chance, if you need any kind of modification needs, whether it is to your wheels, if you want to lift, if you want to put anything extra onto your car, or truck, go ahead and shout out to Streetcars of Memphis. But also the special, it's still going. $55 regular oil change. A full synthetic is $65. But go ahead and give them a call if you can at 901-323-3332. You can also schedule over at 901scm.com. But it's any customization, maintenance, whatever you need, Streetcars of Memphis has got you. Let's go ahead and get into this. And if you don't mind, I don't want to have to keep talking about it all night. Whenever the guys get here, do me a favor and just put in hashtag or at. It could be DTL, which is driving the line, or it could be coach. It could be AB, whatever you want. Just let us know because Kenny will be in the back end trying to help us kind of sift through the comments. And if for some reason you see Twitter fall, let us know because that'd be helpful. But off the top, man, Kenny, tonight's
we're still running
game
good on Twitter over here, man.
Yeah, tonight's game was a little crazy. And I know the Tigers' game was going on as well. So off the top rope, any thoughts in general on the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I think in general, when you have Jaren on the floor, the Grizzlies look like a competent NBA basketball team, right? Jaren is that. I am so impressed by Jaren this year.
Yeah.
He is just. I think when you are trying to figure out someone's place in the NBA, their role in the NBA, I think it's clear to everybody, to the coaching staff, to Jaren as well. He can't be your number one option.
Right.
But damn, dude, he's doing a good job of being that number one option right now.
Yeah. Listen, I agree. And I think this is the growth that you really have to kind of have. And shout out to our guy. He's back. I think he missed the last episode, but shout out to you, Goon. We
Goon,
know. We know you hate Jaron. So I
goon.
promise you, he was a bucket as you have on here. He played like a bucket as usual. I agree, Goon.
Hey, do you remember in the classrooms in high school, ball up that roll of paper, throw it in the trash can?
Yes.
Kobe. That's
Is
what
it?
that is right there. That's a bucket, baby.
So at Heaven's Healthy Kitchen, shout out to you. Great sponsor of ours. Valentine's Day is coming, but the Tigers won, the Grizzlies won. They didn't win, but they played well. It was a great night for hoops overall in the Memphis area. Let's hit on this. Everybody's been talking about the Jaron foul trouble, and he has not fouled out yet. And tonight he does foul out. Do you think that is an issue just in general of maybe that the coach played him too early? Or is it like, hey, he put him in there and took a chance and, Jaron fouls out? Because that's been the knock on Taylor Jenkins. He hasn't gone back to Jaron early enough.
Yeah, Grizzly fans can't want it both ways, right? You can't want it both ways. You want to keep him in because you're just fouling him out anyway because he's not playing.
Yeah.
You got to let him learn to play with 5 fouls. Well, Taylor did that tonight and Jaron didn't do it. So, he fouled out. So it is what it is, right? Like it is what it is. Like you can't ask for both. You can't have, why didn't he take him out? Well, if he had taken him out, we would be going, why did he take him out? But no, I mean, Jaron has that perpetual struggle that every big man that has some kind of perimeter game wants to be in. He thinks he's a guard. And so he uses his hands a lot. He doesn't wall up a lot. That's kind of a struggle that he's always had as a defender. And when you see him wall up, you see him not get fouls, and you see him get a lot of blocks. When he uses his hands and tries to strip balls away from people in the paint, you're going to get a lot of foul calls on you, man.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is, he's got to quit playing the cookie jar in a sense, keeping his hands low. But doing the little things, he does get a bad whistle. So I'm not going to hate on that man too much. But as LOL Nope Jones said, he's happy that Kenny and Goon are here. Let's get into some GG talk. I see a lot of GG on the timeline for sure. And as Reese is saying, GG is so good, putting on the 15-man roster. Another one from the Black Ninja DJ talking about GG. GG is becoming a fan favorite, and he obviously played well tonight. GG overall, I don't know why I clicked that. My whole screen is like flickering right now. GG played well tonight. He didn't start, but he did play 32 minutes, as I've always said. Like, you don't need to start to have big minutes on this team, and you don't need to be a starter to really close the game and be an important piece. GG tonight, 32 minutes, 25 points. He had 9 rebounds, which is huge. 1 assist, 4 of 8 from deep, 9 of 17 overall. That is growth. The 9 rebounds is what excites me probably the most.
You know what excites me in terms of his stats is 0 turnovers.
Ooh, that's sexy.
That is sexy as hell is what that is.
That's Valentine's Day sexy.
It is Valentine's Day sexy. Him having 0 turnovers and playing that many minutes, and you actually shorted him 2 points. He had 27 and 9. So I think that one of the things that we've talked about with GG is, like, I put it in the Discord, I think a few days ago. I was like, can we pump the brakes a little bit on GG being top 8 next year roster player on this team? Like, GG is a uber talented player, 19 years old, been playing for godly, like not long at all. And he shows glimpses of just like he did tonight, where you're like, God, dog, man, this dude is going to be a phenomenal NBA basketball player. But then there are nights where he's not, and that's to be expected, right? Like, and so I think you look at a game like tonight and you just go, man, like, let's not go overboard with our perception of what this means for GG. Not everything has to mean something, but it just shows you again, golly, this kid is really, really talented.
Yeah. He is. And honestly, he's going to have the ups and the downs as honestly any young player is going to have, any rookie realistically in the league. And the fact that, as Alan's saying, people still judging his team as it's a full NBA roster is crazy, because this team is far from complete. Like the farthest from complete that they're going to be, because you got to think there are 7 players that I know that I want playing real minutes next year.
Right.
Like that's at the max.
At the max.
And literally there's only 3 that are on the court right now. And honestly, you could probably throw in another one in Santi if you wanted to. But that is it. And that's all they have right now. And that's without, Ja, Bane, Smart. And so, dude, it's an incomplete. But listen, it's fun. This is a team that you can kind of have a moral victory in and feel good about, because that's really what it's all about. So,
yeah, I'll tell you this: my feelings on Gigi, my evaluation of Gigi starts next year. Honestly, for me, because I look at next year as his rookie year. This is just cake for me right now.
Right.
Like what we see out of him is just like, I think, what was his name that was on your show? Keith Smith.
Yep.
Keith
Yep.
Smith was on your show last time, and he said that Gigi going to play for South Carolina in college for 1 year in college basketball was probably a mistake, that he probably could have gone to the G League Ignite and learned kind of what being a professional is. And I actually agree with that. I don't think college basketball is for everybody. I think college basketball is and I say that because I cover college basketball. So I love the NBA, the product on the floor, but in terms of my job, I cover college basketball. College basketball is a completely different sport.
Yeah.
The
sure.
rules make it absolutely different. And so in a lot of ways, college basketball is not the greatest for, evaluating someone to what they're going to end up being in the pros. They're just, Lester Quinones is a great example of that, I think, in terms of what he's doing right now for the Golden State Warriors. But Gigi, what we're getting out of him right now for me is just the appetizer to the full course that starts next year for me.
Yeah.
Right. I think I look at next year as his rookie year.
Yeah. Well, so because he is the youngest player in the NBA, definitely helps him in his growth. The fact that he's going to get an NBA, like a real NBA contract this season.
Yeah.
Just goes and screams from the mountaintops, like how good this dude is and how good he's going to be.
Right.
The athleticism is obviously off the charts. How well he has played within himself has been off the charts. But the upside, and we were just talking about that, the upside from King Meeks, dude, it's
unbelievable.
The way he can actually get through the lane and being in his size, the way he can kind of sidestep and do a Euro, get to the lane, it's just incredible. But the fact that he's rebounding the ball, that's, like I said earlier, the fact that he's rebounding the ball so well, that's really what gets me, going, because the simple fact is this team, their number one thing they need is rebounding. And you saw that tonight. Drummond dominated us, but you also had 2 guys, that actually, they combined for 20 rebounds, and Vince Williams and Gigi Jackson. Both are on 2 ways to start the season. Both were not in your plans to play tonight. No. And the fact that you have them going forward into your rotation is incredible.
So did Drummond dominate the boards as much as Sabonis did the other night?
No.
27 rebounds.
He only had 13.
He only had 13. Okay.
He didn't start.
He's a scrub. No. I looked at the stat line, man. The box score, when the lines that jump off to me are Vince Williams, man, like 13, 11, and what did he have? 8 assists with 1 turnover.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. Like he is just consistently showing new wrinkles to his game that are just, I know somebody, I think Pete Pranica might've said it on Twitter the other day. He said one of the biggest positives towards one of the biggest positive towards what we're seeing out of Vince is that he hasn't had a bad game all year, right? He had a couple of not great games, and today was a massive bounce back game.
Yeah, no doubt. The Grizzlies played well. 118-110 was, obviously a game where you're winning through 3 quarters, feeling good about yourself.
Yeah.
We'll take moral victories, especially tonight. Listen, maybe the Tigers fans can be happy. Maybe. Probably
Tiger
not.
fan. Hey, listen, Bulletin. Tigers fans are never happy.
We know.
Never happy.
You know that obviously too well on your end of things. But, tonight, really, the Grizzlies played well. 118-110 was the loss. Overall, great night. You see these young guys playing so well that eventually they're going to be in this eight-man rotation, no doubt. All right, so our guests are here. We're going to get to them.
I'm nervous, bro. I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. These guys,
I love it.
These are nobodies. I'm kidding. But do me a favor, though. If you're in the chat, as we always do the hashtag coach, hashtag AB, hashtag DTL, whatever you want to do. If you have your comments and any questions that you have, we want to make sure we get to those. But we're going to go ahead and take a break real quick. And then on the other side, we will have Coach and AB.
Yeah. Vince Williams is the closest thing we've seen to Tony Allen.
100%.
Tony Allen. I think that has been really thrown around very loosely in a kind of just joking manner for a lot of people, because everybody for the love that we have for TA, such a big factor in this franchise. We throw that thing around. We throw that the grandson thing around lightly because it's kind of funny on Twitter, but he is the closest thing to Tony Allen that has been so far in a Memphis uniform. And I think that's D'Anthony Melton might have been the other, but to your point, and that's what made me think about this, is that the fearlessness that he plays with, that's what Tony Allen played with. He did not care who you were. He doesn't see a name on that.
Tune in to The Daily Grind with Mark King and Luke Hatmaker at 1 p.m. every Monday through Friday, live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Grizz 901. I might have some familiar faces with you today. Let's go ahead and bring them in. These two dudes are some of the good ones, and as we always say, we celebrate the good guys here at Grizz 901. Talking about two guys that you have in your foxhole. Tie yourself to them because you're coming out up top. The first guy, I got to bring in my guy first. We'll bring him he is probably one of the funniest guys. He'll make you laugh. He'll make you cash. But also, he is the Nacho Belgrande himself. What's up, AB?
Hey, what's up, man? I was going to say, look, first off, there's no any show ever where I should be going in front of Coach. So let's just get that one right out of the way, out of the gate. But, man, it's good to see you, buddy. How we doing? And I'll say this, man. I was watching. You guys were, breaking down the Grizz. I'd love to jump in that conversation, whenever, because there are a lot of pieces, right? Like, there are pieces there, and the tough part is getting around John Morant. Right, whether it's injury, whether it's everything else, but there are pieces for sure, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, don't be rude. We got to bring in your buddy here, but we have the other guy here. As you all know who he is, you've seen him have the rock bottom down in front of millions and millions, and now he's here with you today in front of thousands and thousands of fans just like you. He is Jonathan Coachman. What's up, Coach?
What's going on? I tell you what, I was actually looking while I was waiting to come on, and I was trying to see if I knew any player at all who now plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. And I texted AB. He didn't know any of these guys either. I'm like, who the hell were you even talking about? But I will tell you this. You brought up The Rock. And at Driving the Line now every single day, we actually, AB bullied me. He bullied me into doing WWE content. But I got to tell you, with everything that's going on in the world right now with the WWE, we're excited, but we're excited to be here tonight with you. Because we all got to lift each other up, right? We all got to be on each other's shows. That's what we do. So we're excited to be here.
Coach, man, you're always hitting the promo. It's 10 out of 10, as you always do. It brings you back to my childhood, even though literally you're not that much older than me. You're still young. But you're definitely the childhood for all of us because you're doing that at such a young time when you're out with WWE doing the rock stuff. Like it was incredible. So it brings you back to my childhood. But AB, you are a little bit ties to Memphis a little bit. So your parents, are they still here in Memphis?
No. So, moved to Nashville, actually left Memphis, went to Dallas, Texas. That's where I was born. And then, went to Nashville. But I mean, they both grew up right there, Whitehaven, back in the late 60s, though throughout the 70s. My grandfather was actually the chief of the fire department in Memphis during a lot of big things that, kind of happened there. So I say all that to say, like, the respect for the city of Memphis, man, like, you're not going to find any more that I have it, right? Like, it is it's a beautiful place, man.
Yeah.
And shout out, look, whether you want to call it Memphis, my old man still calls it Memphis State. Nice win tonight, got the win and the cover. That was a good one.
Hey, I was against them, and I've been against them probably for a while. I always usually bet the spread against them just because, you know what, in the end, I'm happy because if they do cover, great. That means they won. But if not, then I'm still happy because I'm cashing. And I know you were on that play tonight, so that was big. First thing, Coach, we just had breaking news. It looks like Lamar won the MVP. Is that surprising to you at all?
Not surprising to me at all. I mean, he had a great year, and I really thought he played really well. But here's the problem. We talked about it on our show, and me and AB do shows, all over the country like yours as well, is that the difference between Lamar Jackson as an MVP and Lamar Jackson playing like an MVP is a lot of people can play well in the regular season. Patrick Mahomes has figured out not only how to play well in the regular season, how to play well with no wide receivers, how to win MVPs, win things different ways. This year, it's the defense. So Lamar Jackson's got to figure out a way because he, just like Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, next year, Daniel, it's not even going to matter in the regular season. They're going to say, well, they're 8-0 or they're 8-2, they're 9-2. It's not going to matter because what they're going to do, $200 million plus, and you can't win a home game over the Chiefs after they had already played twice. So, no, it doesn't surprise me, but now it's going to set himself up for the next 3 or 4 years. If they don't win, what does it all mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's gonna be tough for Lamar if he can't win the big games as like Mahomes is doing. I do have a question for you because I know you are a Chiefs fan. There's been a lot of rumors surrounding Travis Kelce. Do you think that he could just kind of walk off into the sunset here and retire after this game Sunday?
This is the craziest question that I've ever seen. Me and AB talked about it today on Driving the Line with Andy Reid as well. This guy is, I think sometimes we forget how old certain players are because they just have played for a really long time. And Travis Kelce is one of those guys, his brother too. But I think he's 35 now, if I'm not mistaken. And he's already said, why would I leave? Yeah. Why would I leave this dynasty that now if they win, it'll be 3 out of 5. If he plays another 2 or 3 years, they could win 1 or 2 more. And now he's in a great relationship with Taylor Swift. He's doing, guys, what all 3 of us would love to do. Yeah. He is dating up. He is going to marry up. Can you imagine making $16 million a year and all of a sudden you're the broke one in the relationship? That's who he is. But I also think this, guys, because he's a proud guy. And his agents have made him a star on purpose. But now he's got to come back next year and prove that this off year wasn't all about Taylor, wasn't all about anything else. And he's got to get back to being a first-team All-Pro. And I think that's very, very important to him.
Yeah, I agree. You don't walk away from the money. Who walks away from a contract? That doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. The other thing is I promise you take the time off and you retire. You go hang out with her, then you're just following her around. She's gonna get bored of you. See you later, dude. It's done.
Can you imagine you're sitting on the side of the stage every night, and they're like taking the camera? Oh God, it would get so old so quick.
Yeah.
So well, let me say, like Dave Chappelle did a skit about what it would be like being married to like Oprah.
Right.
Like she's never home. Like she's always gone, and you just have a bank account that is just always that card's always going through. Like you have no concerns, and he was just sitting there like, I live the greatest life of all time. But I mean, I agree with the coach. Like, it's the same thing with Andy Reid, right? Like, why would you go now?
Yeah.
You've got everything built up, but
what are you going to go do? I mean, 62 is not that old. 35 is not that old anymore in the NFL. It's not.
No. And the thing is, like, there's no reason to walk off just yet. Not if you're set up for success. As with Mahomes, practically, they're set up for success every single year. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the Super Bowl, and that's what I wanted to bring y'all on here for. We do have the questions coming in, so I appreciate it as always, guys and gals, because we do have some ladies in here. I'm going to give this one to you first, AB. Who's getting the first TD? And I know I don't want you to give away anything, but if you can just take a stab in the dark. I don't want to see a diamond up here. We don't need any diamonds on this show. But I would like to see who's getting the first TD.
Yeah. So, all right. So what we're going to have to say until the end of time His coach literally drilled this on the first ever attempt on driving the line forever. The first one, and it was over plus 1,000. I think that, okay, look, the easy answer would be Christian McCaffrey, because I think San Francisco, look, that's nothing against Kansas City, but San Francisco absolutely has to play aggressive and play with a lead. They can't do this 3 games in a row of trying to come from behind. The Chiefs will just kill you doing that.
Right.
But with Christian McCaffrey, that number is going to be out of control, right? So I would say he's the good answer. Deebo Samuel is a solid answer as well. Like, I'm going to go on the 49ers side because I think that they do everything they can to score first. But yeah.
Well, we've seen them when they got, behind. It never goes well for them. So, Coach, any thoughts on the first GD?
Well, even though AB is my partner and my business partner, and I love him to death, as of right now, he is dead to me. There's no chance. There is no world. I like to actually look at trends, even though I know in the betting world you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks, Brock Purdy, he's played well at the end of the games, in the second half of games, but very nervous at the start. They fell behind by double digits in both games. And let's remember, the Chiefs have been here multiple times in the last few years. So it's going to be a Chiefs touchdown. But some of the numbers, CMC is out of control. Travis Kelce is out of control. So to me, it's going to be either Travis Kelce or Rashee Rice. Because let's be honest, Patrick Mahomes only will throw it to those 2 dudes.
Right.
When you've got MVS as over 1.5 catches in the entire game, that tells me the sports books say he's not going to get to him till the second half anyway. So if you got to play a first touchdown, and you have to, it's got to be Kelce or it's got to be Rice. To me, there's nobody else.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, Rice is my play. If you're looking at these, as you were saying, CMC's plus 370, Pacheco's plus 650, Kelsey's plus 700, Debo's 850 AB, and Rashee Rice is plus 950. So right on that plus 1,000. Maybe we'll see it on driving the line. You never know. You never know. All right, so Coach, this one's for you, and this is from our guy King Meeks. He wants to know if you could sing Copacabana. I'm kidding. Please don't do it. But any memories about this?
Copacabana. Now, I will say this. The one thing about all the little skits that I did with The Rock, and I may actually go back to the WWE now. A lot of things have changed. A lot of people are gone that I don't really like or respect anymore, and I'll leave it at that. But people don't realize the very first skit, Daniel, I ever did, Chicago, January 8th, 2000. And The Rock, for everything that people think that he is, if they saw him tonight, he's a giver. He understands. And what he did for me, he said, Coach, we got to make this about you. We got to make it about things that you like. Growing up, I loved Barry Manilow. And because of the skits, singing Copacabana, I kid you not, we get a call at the office the next week. And it was Barry Manilow's manager. And it was right around Christmas time. And he said, I saw the skit. Barry Manilow and his team, they're actually big wrestling fans. And we were hoping that if we could leave 2 tickets for Coach, he'd come watch him at Radio City Music Hall. Wow. And so I took a friend of mine, a lady friend at the time, and I went and saw him on him, free tickets. And guess who sat right in front of me as the lights came down? Who walked right down the aisle and sat right in front of me? None other than Regis Philbin. And I leaned forward. I go, hey, Reg, Coach, don't know who you are. And I backed away. He literally gave me that look like, who are you? But it was very cool. And Barry was amazing. Sound just like the CD. And very few artists do that. But he was awesome. And New York at Christmas time, there's nothing better.
Coach, I thought you were going to say it was Jerry Lawler that came in and sat down. My man, the King.
Yeah, he's great too.
We know a lot about the King here. The name, listen, the name drops. I know you're not doing them on purpose, but simply just the name drops are incredible. Coach, this one's coming back to you, and this is a football question, I believe. I don't even know who this is. The Black Ninja DJ wants to know, how big is the Thuney?
Yeah, he tore his ACL. He's a defensive player, and he's kind of I call him a clogger. He allows guys that can really move around to make the plays, but you need to have those big guys on the interior. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. Now, the real strength of the defense for the Chiefs, in my opinion, and AB, you can weigh in on this if you want, is the defensive backfield, and they've really shut these offensives down. Think about Dolphins, I believe, scored 10. Ravens scored 10 or 7, and the Bills only scored 7 in the second half. So this is a big loss, but I don't think it's going to be as big as people think it's going to be, but certainly he had a really, really good year.
Yeah. AB?
Yeah, I mean, everything the coach said, right? And really what it does is it affects like Spags in regards to how aggressive you are with the pass rush, right? So if, you have linebackers and injuries to that, you have a secondary that's playing great. You don't want to leave them completely on an island,
Right.
but the more that you can, the better off you are. And I mean, coach is absolutely correct. The Chiefs defense is playing way better than the 49ers defense.
Right.
Like, that's the wild part. It's like, I'm so surprised that the books are not making the Chiefs a favorite just for the fact that, like, if us three owned a sports book, like, even if I thought the 49ers were the better team, I'm going to make you pay a tax to bet the Chiefs. I'm not going to give you points. You're going to have to eat something there. So, yeah, man, like, coach nailed it. Like, on the defense. He's a big part for sure.
And you know what I laugh at is when these guys, because we follow all the guys that run the sports books, and they're now active on Twitter, and we're going to have a sports book a part of us very, very soon. It's going to be a big one too. But I love when the guys that run it go, oh, we really need the Chiefs to come through for us. Then change the number. Why do you got to follow the number that everybody else has in Las Vegas? You don't have to. You choose to. And they always do it. They did it, but the last couple of weeks, no public has gone with the Chiefs. So they've maintained this underdog role. And me and AB talk about it every single day. We just can't figure it out. Against the Bills, getting 4, are we serious right now? They should be, at least to me, it's at worst a pick 'em, but maybe -1, -1.5.
Hey, look, let me say, that total hasn't moved an inch. It opened 47.5 and it sits 47.5. You could tell nobody knows what to do with that one.
Yep.
Yeah, the line in general just opened up. It opened up at 3, and I think they said in 42 minutes it fell to 2.5, and then it dropped all the way down to a pick 'em, a -1 either way. And then now it's at, mainly 1.5 to 2.5, depending on, what books you're looking at. Any chance it gets to 3 before the start of the game?
No, unless they're, and here's the problem. People that are listening right now understand this. Last year, I think there was $16 billion. This year, there's going to be $23 billion. That screams to, there's a lot of people who never bet on a football game all season long. All of a sudden, they show up for the Super Bowl and go, you know what? I love the Chiefs. Let me bet on, let me bet the 49ers. So if it does move, it's not going to be because the quote unquote sharps are doing it. It's going to be because the public and the game is in Las Vegas, so they can be there and do it in real time. So if it does, we don't always recommend buying points, but if you can buy it through 3 or to 3.5 or even to 4, sometimes I'll buy Daniel a full point for 15 or 20 cents. To me, it's worth it, especially in a game that should be relatively tight throughout.
Yeah, especially with football, because it's a different sport compared to, basketball in general, where you're talking about, a shot is 2. Compared to football, those 3s and those 4s, end up being important. So I like that. I always buy the point. If I can get over the 3.5 number or a 4.5, then I'll always get there.
Let me tell you this. I'll tell you this. So we broke this down on Driving the Line, but since 2015, all right, we went through every single NFL game, regular season, playoffs, and calculated the percentages of the number of where games ended. And what I mean by that is this, all right? Games that ended with a 3-point difference. Let's just say Chiefs winning by 3 over the 49ers. Almost 15% of all NFL games since 2015 ended exactly a 3-point difference, a team winning by 3 points. So when you're betting those numbers, especially key numbers like that, you talk about 3, 7s, 10, 14. Imagine going to a restaurant, right? If you're looking at the difference between 2.5, 3, 3.5, that 3.5, imagine going to a restaurant and you now have a 15% greater chance of getting food poisoning. All right. Like, that's the difference of betting those numbers. So when coach talks about like buying a full point, dude, a lot of times it can absolutely help you out.
Mm-hmm. I told y'all he was the Nacho Bel Grande himself, always bringing it back to the restaurant.
Bean burritos, that's what it is.
Our bean burrito. Back to you, AB, with this one. I know you're more the defensive guy. Probably not the first sack, because that's so hard to predict. But if you had to look at a defensive player, is there anybody that you would just kind of target? I know that you have, obviously guys with the 49ers, but the Chiefs have been playing much better the defensive end for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. So when you look at both of these defenses and what we just talked about, right, in regards to the injury for the Chiefs at the linebacker position, understand the 49ers have arguably the best linebacking core in the NFL. So what that means is that they could be more aggressive in regards to their front three, front four, front five, however they want to get down. And I think that they're going to bring pressure because you can't let Mahomes just sit back and eat you alive because he'll eat you alive. So as cliche as this answer sounds, Bosa. Go with Bosa.
Right.
Like, this dude is a beast. He's a monster. And especially if he's going lined up against Trey Smith, who is a Tennessee guy. But, dude, he's had problems and he has had issues there. And understand, the Chiefs, they've had the same issues that Alabama had this year. Offensive line, that when they are pressured, they start committing penalties, and a lot of them. Look for Shanahan and the 49ers defense to start that early. So, yeah, I'd go with Bosa, man.
AB, we're going to start charging you every time that you talk about a Tennessee player. We're going to make you take a drink.
All right, broke.
Yeah, you would be broke. Let's go back to Coach with this one. The WrestleMania press conference. Have you over at Driving the Line? You're dabbling into a little bit more of the wrestling, and you're going to obviously give, I guess, whatever you end up doing on a solid basis. You just started doing that. What exactly are your thoughts on the entire press conference? Have you seen it? And then also talk about when is your video coming out about it?
So our video will be out later tonight.
Okay.
True transparency. My son's an elite junior golfer. So we've had a lot of rain out here in Southern California. So today was the first day that we've been open. So I had to take him out to the golf course. So I literally, as soon as I'm done here, will watch the entire press conference. Now, I did have my moles that are in Vegas were texting me as I was slopping through the wetness on the golf course today. And they said, Coach, this is amazing. Rock's turning full heel. Now, I watched The Rock today on Pat McAfee, and we're going to have a weekly show doing wrestling, and we're going to talk about like the bigger storylines. But understand this, I stood next to The Rock for 3 years. I know what he's all about. And today, when he was using the heel cliches and calling them Cody crybabies, and I was like, wait a second. I know what's coming. Yep. And one thing The Rock always taught me, because him and Triple H have never gotten along. They don't get along, and there's nothing to make me believe they're going to get along right now. But for Triple H and The Rock and Roman Reigns and Cody to sit down and say, you know what? We're not getting the reaction that we thought we were going to get. And understand, when you're sitting in a room, and I was in the room for over a decade, and you're looking at the rundown, you're saying it's going to go this way, and it goes that way. You've got to figure out how to do that and make it make sense. So everything I have seen, and we'll have it out either late tonight or early tomorrow morning, has been that The Rock is doing what we used to call good business. And now, instead of going against the bloodline, he's going to align himself with the bloodline. And then you can still give Cody everything he wants. Because the one thing about the business that I want everybody to understand, eventually, no matter how long the storyline is, you got to give the people what they want. Yeah. And you got to do it at WrestleMania. You can't do it at SummerSlam. You can't do it at the Royal Rumble. And it sounds like, to me, they figured out how to make it work, and everybody wins. That's the key.
Yeah, it's big. I'm interested in seeing exactly how they're going to turn this because obviously you have all these big egos, but these big names, and you can't leave The Rock out. You have to include him. He's there. You have to include him. All right, we're going to a couple more, and then we're going to get out of here because I know obviously y'all are busy, but let's go over to you, AB. I'm gonna pitch y'all against each other because one, that's what we have to do around here. But looking at the 49ers, AB, how do they win this game? Because if you're talking about Brock Purdy, how does he play well? He's played well, obviously, in the fourth quarter, but he can throw a lame duck. How do they win? And then, Coach, I'm going to go back to you immediately after that and kind of see how the Chiefs can win.
Sure. Yeah, so the first thing, and Coach will probably say something kind of similar, your best defense is your offense. Keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, right? Long sustained drives, control the clock, control the ball, control the game. On average, the last decade in Super Bowls, teams that won the game averaged about 10 plays more per, all right? Meaning teams that can control the clock, they usually do it. Now, Purdy's going to have to throw because, I mean, everybody knows that Christian McCaffrey is, front and center with this team. But then again, you could say that, you still have to go stop him. It's easier said than done, but Purdy's going to have to do it in the air. He's going to have to do it. The Chiefs are going to make him do that. So we'll see. So I would say if you're looking at betting it, pass attempts on Brock Purdy.
And I also believe pass attempts is going to hit because they're going to be behind. Here's the problem, is that Brock Purdy has never felt blood pressure like what he's going to feel on Sunday. And also remember, there's like a 35 to 40-minute halftime as well. And when you're not used to it, when you've never been in it, it's very hard to restart that engine. So the only way the 49ers win is if they get a lead early, because if the Chiefs, and I believe this is going to happen, if the Chiefs get out to an early lead, just like the Packers did, just like the Lions did, Chiefs are not giving up a 14-point lead to the 49ers like those two teams did. So how the Chiefs win, you get out early, and then at halftime, we bet this on Driving the Line. At BetMGM, you can bet halftime, full-time. It's like a soccer bet for the Chiefs to be up at halftime and then for them to be up at the end of the game. They're going to come out fast. This is what Patrick Mahomes does, and they know they're not stupid. They've watched those two games. They understand what the 49ers have done, and they came back late to win. This is a Super Bowl, baby. Yeah. Brock Purdy is not going to be able to do that. So I think they get up early. Plus 190, by the way, is that bet if you want to go halftime, full-time. Chiefs win by at least 7. I think they might win by even 10.
Wow.
Going big, son.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, I believe you, and I think everybody else is starting to believe you. AB, I think Coach has owned you on that one. I know he's had some training before. I know he's a talker. I think he got you on that one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Look, next time, intro him first. No, I mean, he crashed it. He's absolutely right. I mean, it's gonna be a fun game. I can't wait to see it. There's so many tree branches of how this thing can go. And both these teams have shown they're not afraid to play from behind. It's gonna be fun.
Well, obviously everybody loves y'all and has appreciated the time. The last thing we're gonna do, and I think I told y'all a little bit about this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put together a parlay on the show. I'm gonna take one pick from each guy and we're gonna put it together. And if that hits, we're gonna give away $100 on the next show after the Super Bowl. I think it's Monday. My co-host will be back. Nate will be back with me. And so the next show we'll do is Monday. We'll give $100 away. So I'm going to make
a question real quick.
Great.
Sorry, not to interrupt you. I'm doing it. I'm interrupting your flow like I do to Coach. All right. So the rules are if we hit it, you guys give $100, correct?
Correct.
We'll match you.
Okay. All right.
Let's have some fun.
All right. I'm going to let Coach go first, AB, if that's all right with you.
All right, my piece of the parlay, and I believe the number is 6.5 minus 110. I'm going to go with Kelce over his receptions, and this is the lock of the end. I can't believe it's not 7.5 or 8.5. Kelce over 6.5. The last time I looked, I believe it was minus 110. That's going to be the first part of the parlay for me. I would actually bet it in the first half. That's how many receptions I think he's going to have. But I'd go over 6.5 is my part.
Hey, that I believe, Coach, you have the play of 35-plus receiving yards in the first half.
Yes, I did. That's correct.
I'm not going to say I hammered it. Hopefully my wife's not watching, but I hammered that one. It was beautiful. I saw that.
My man.
All right, we have that over 6.5 receptions. AB, what you got?
Patrick Mahomes over 4.5 rush attempts. Not only is that going to be worked into the game plan, but that 49ers pass rush, they're going to get after him. They're going to be aggressive, and we know Mahomes will run. He'll also run on third downs when the plays, kind of break down and those linebackers kind of shut down that second, third option. And then remember, kneel downs, they count as rush attempts too.
He loves that stuff. He loves those damn kneel downs. But
I love it.
Patrick Mahomes. I'm good with that.
Yeah, no doubt. I did hit that play as well, AB. I love that one from you. Listen, I wanted to go so many different directions, and I try to stay away from picks that you already had because I've seen everything that y'all have ever put out so far. I'm going to go with something that's simple, but I think it's obviously not great odds. But I think it's going to be CMC TD, which is obviously should be a given. But I'm going to include Pacheco as well. So I'm going to go be a 4-way. And so we're going to include all of those. And so Pacheco, Coach doesn't like Pacheco. Listen,
no, I hate the minus. The CMC is minus 225.
Listen, I'm just.
He's minus 225.
That's a static play. Hey, you just got to get a win in there somewhere. Yeah.
I don't like that minus 225. It brings the number way down. I like the Pacheco. Why don't you? If you just play Pacheco without CMC, I think the number would be higher than throwing CMC in there.
No way.
I believe it would be.
Well, listen, let's do that. I'm down with making money. I'm not trying to not make money.
We just segued into 2 parlays on the
Hey,
show.
I think so. I think it would be. I think the minus 225 would actually bring it down.
All right, how do we feel about interception? Who's throwing a pick in this game?
Purdy, Brock Purdy.
Yeah, you said Brock Purdy, but I honestly, like, I haven't seen the Chiefs get an interception in how many games now?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, but Mahomes hasn't become close. Mahomes hasn't come close in the playoffs to even turning the ball over.
Yeah, it's tough.
At all. You can't play Mahomes.
No, I'm not playing Mahomes. The only person I would play is Pacheco. That'd be it.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, Daniel, when are you coming on our show? Because I
Listen,
like your style. I like how you talk. I like how, AB, how come we haven't had him on and made him part of the crew?
He doesn't
It's
like me.
probably my fault. Yeah, I know. Like, we got to have him on for sure.
Oh, my God. We're building our crew up, and he's not a part of it? Stop it. We got to get our brand manager on that. That's
Get after him. Well, you guys are great. Listen, the chat loves you. This is obviously not this isn't a great Grizzly season, and it's not been a great Grizzly season, but shows like yours is the reason that I've kind of created this community just from watching Sportsline over the years to now you're doing your own thing at Driving the Line. If you're not following Driving the Line, I promise you're missing out because it's more about the actual community than it is the show. The show is the community, just like Driving the Line is the community. It's the same thing. And so honestly, love you guys. And I think y'all are great. This has been a great opportunity. AB, obviously you're my guy. And so I just want to make sure that everybody goes and follows Driving the Line. Make sure every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., there's going to be so much around the Super Bowl. But then after the Super Bowl, Coach, I think you said it. That's when y'all really will take off. And I do believe that.
You're damn right. I appreciate it. And by the way, I hit both of my plays tonight. I hit the Warriors plus 6.5. You're welcome, America. And the Suns are up 18 with 2 to play. Cleveland already won by 23. Oh, it's just simply what we do. It's simply what we do.
First off, I mean, he crushed it. He's absolutely right. Number 2, how many threes did Steph have? Like 14? It was an insane night.
Yeah.
And that was with Klay Thompson out. How many?
Yeah. By the way, the next time I'm on your show, Daniel, I'm going to tell you a story, and it's true. All my kids. It happened the last time I was in Memphis, Tennessee. It involves an ex-girlfriend, a Delta flight attendant, the Red Sox, and the Rock. That's all I'm going to say.
And the rendezvous.
That's all I'm going to say. That'll be the next story the next time. And you won't even believe where it starts, but it ends in Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow. We listen, we have to do this more. I love hanging out with you guys. And obviously this has been an opportunity for me. But the story time with Coach might be, I know you want to do Coach's Corner on your show. Story time with Coach. It might be one of the best.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it all.
Well, thank you guys so much. We're going to keep on going. We're going to take a commercial. We'll be right back after this.
What do you think is more of a priority for this team? Because you're starting to hear a lot of rumors coming out about teams that are willing to make trades. I'm a big wing guy. This is Memphis. We barbecue in Wing City. So I also understand the importance of big men. The best players in the league are all bigs.
If you're making a player in a lab, absolutely you want to build a Paul George player. You want to build the big wing, Kevin Durant, whatever. Like
Gigi Jackson.
Yeah, or Gigi Jackson, which actually I was thinking about, what about Gigi, Anthony? But unfortunately, those guys aren't out there. And like, even when you start naming specific names of guys you want to get, like the quality drop off goes down quick. I do think the Grizzlies' easiest avenue to immediately improving next year and getting on the cusp of like being, like a Western Conference finalist, or maybe if you get all the great breaks going your way, is improving your center spot. Just because, but there's just more of those guys I feel like available to help you out.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Yo, we are back, and welcome to Grizz 901, your favorite post-game show. That was a hell of a lot of fun.
Bro.
Good times.
Man, hell of a job, dude. The way you flowed that was amazing. That was awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
I mean, once you toss something to Coach and AB, it's like it's over, right? Like,
yeah, AB can he can chat it up, and he is a dude. And he reminds me of a lot of you, Kenny, weirdly enough. But Like he is just a dude. When you see him on the show, like there's no like just proper way of saying things. He's just like, all right, and he'll get into the mic just sometimes just talk real loud, and that's great. Like he's just him, and that's what I wanted. He was sick actually yesterday, and so you probably wouldn't have seen that. But yeah, he was sick. But Coach, he's a walking promo.
Dog. Like there's levels to this, right? Like I felt like we're good at what we do, but
there's levels.
There's levels to this thing, man.
And it's the voice that he gets. Like you can tell he's like, and he gets to the deep part, and he just I'm jealous of how he can command a mic.
Yeah.
But man, it was great. So listen, I wanted to get to all of these questions. I had to keep spinning it towards football and betting. Yeah. I didn't want, and I even, because he has listen, I don't know if y'all know this, but this is the first time Coach has actually said he might have to get back into the WWE. Yeah. This is he just did a very high profiled interview that came out that he said, I will never step foot back in WWE again. This was a month ago. And then all of a sudden, all this stuff happened. And now he's saying I would do it again. I think he's getting the itch, not because he would go back into the WWE, just for the fact of the mic skill that he has. And I think The Rock being involved in all that would be awesome. But if I can say anything, do me a favor. If you enjoy betting at all, go over and follow Driving the Line. It's not even about the betting. It's about the community there. They're very similar to our community here. And I know it is very much shrunk in the Grizzlies season this year because of, they're just not good. They're not winning. Yeah. But it's the same thing. So awesome to kind of see what this has become. Awesome to see what they have become. They just left CBS and they want to do this on their own. This is their brand new brand. They're all in. And when I see, like, I know you know this, when you kind of step away from something and you go all in on and you bet on yourself, I promise you, people are going to work harder and people are going to do, the best job they can for you. But
let's support them, man. Go support what they're doing, dude. They're awesome.
Yep. They are very much awesome. But you know what's awesome?
Hey, I know Nathan doesn't like the song. Busy, baby. Let's go.
All right. Well, hopefully that parlay that we hit tonight is going to parlay we put in there.
What is the part? Like, I think we need to. What is the parlay? Is it with Pacheco or not?
It is with Pacheco. It's not with CMC, and so
not with CMC.
I hate looking at my phone. With you, I don't mind, but with them, I try to look at the camera.
Of course.
Listen, we can do it real quick and look through it. You know what? A little bit later, I'll put it together. Before the show's over, I'll take my time and look at it and see what the odds might be. But listen, I'll give away the $100, and then AB, I knew he would do that. He tries to always, just like I said, community guy. So he's going to throw in another 100. So listen, if it hits, I promise you we'll both give up $100 on it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll get you those odds before the show ends. Let's go ahead and get into Grizz trivia. I have a bonus one tonight. I saw this come through my Twitter timeline from Chris Harrington. What guy has the lowest true shooting percentage this season among all players with at least 200 plus field goal attempts, and they are on the Grizzlies?
Okay, say that one more time so I can call Nate. Real quick.
Lowest true shooting percentage this season among all players in the NBA, and he wore a Memphis Grizzlies jersey this season.
Okay, you said wore, past tense. So it's either David Roddy or Tillman. Let me go Tillman. I mean, how many corner 3-point shots?
I don't know. The funny thing about this, and shout out to Chris Harrington, but the lowest minimum with 300 field goal attempts, David Roddy.
Let's go. And yet, Grizzlies Twitter has been melting down over losing these two guys.
Yep, I agree. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the real question. So the Grizzlies, they have had many players this season And guess what they've always had? They've also had many jersey numbers.
Okay.
The number one, or let's just say I don't want to put number one in there. I want to throw you off. The jersey number worn the most of all time just in Memphis within the Grizzlies. It is also a Memphis Grizzlies, Vancouver Grizzlies combined. It's still the most as well, the same number. What number has been worn the most by all the players throughout the entire franchise history? And I'll give you the actual number if you'd like. Not the actual number, but how many times?
Oh, how many times? I was like, so what's the question?
So it's been done 18 different times in the entire history. 17 of the 18 has happened while in Memphis. What jersey number has been worn the most by different players? Look at all these guesses. I am, dude, I love this. Goon is with 33, 12, 2.
I was gonna say 22 at first, but because I'm trying to think, but it's not 22 because it would have to be players that kind of are in and out, right? Like in and out, like guys that don't have long-term stability. Like they're not, the numbers change quickly. So that takes out 50, that takes out 33, that takes out
number 22 was worn 7 different times, and it was famously worn by Brevin Knight, but it is not number 22. I'm going to keep giving you some hints because nobody in the chat has got it yet either. So out of the 17 players, the first one, it was in 2004.
Oh, man.
The only years that this player or that this jersey was not worn in a Grizzlies season is 2005 and 2006 and 2017. 2005 and 2017 was the only years you did not see this jersey number. This jersey number was worn by a Hall of Famer
for Memphis. A Hall of wait,
he's an NBA
no,
Hall of
Powell.
Famer.
That's not a Hall of Famer.
He's an NBA Hall of Famer that wore this jersey for the Grizzlies. This jersey number.
Hall of Famer. Dog, I don't.
King.
I'm gonna go with Goon the Shooter, man. Let's go 11.
It is not 11. 11 has only been worn by 3 players. You ding dong.
Yeah, because wasn't Mike Conley 11?
Yes.
So no, it's definitely not 11.
This is I'm telling you, it's a tough one. 17 different players have worn this. There's only been 2 years ever that in the Grizzlies franchise history since 2004 has this missed. It's been worn by a Hall of Famer, and I don't believe he ever stepped on the court in the regular season.
Oh, regular season.
I don't think he played ever in the regular season.
Hall of Famer.
I could be wrong.
Why am I so bad at this?
He was not around very long.
Like I feel like I should know.
And this gentleman on social media even put out a picture hanging over his MVP with Ja Morant's jersey.
Oh, it's Allen.
Allen
Number 3.
Iverson.
Number 3. Yeah. Let's go, man.
Finally. God.
Jesus. Sorry. Listen, just next time just say AI and I'll get it.
No, that was fun. King Meeks got it a while back, even though he guessed 12.
Thanks.
He might have guessed every number.
Yeah. When you every number available to the NBA in terms of numbers, King Meeks guessed in the chat.
But hey, shout out to the chat. Shout out to you guys. That was fun because everybody was kind of all over the place. But I tried to keep giving out hints to try to get some more players. Can you name 5 other number 3s?
No. Hell no. No.
You want me to let me read off some of these?
Read off some of these.
So famously worn by Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
Yeah, absolutely.
And only literally four players wore this that went over 2 seasons. Okay. Like, so everybody else was a quick one. It started with Troy Bell in 2004, Anthony Roberson, which is a former Florida Gator, Chucky Atkins, Javaris Crittenden, Jeremy Richardson, Darius Miles, Allen Iverson, Jason Williams wore number 3 famously.
I did not. Okay.
Yep. So when he came back in 2011, he wore that. Brian Skinner, Wayne Ellington, James Johnson, Jordan Adams, Breonte Weber, which was a shot in the pan.
Yeah.
And then Javon Carter, Grayson Allen, Tyrell Terry, and then Jake LaRavia.
They all need to go away. Grayson Allen can. Grayson Allen can. I wish his time had been shorter here in Memphis.
Yeah, no, that was great. I try to find these stupid just questions, and
I love that.
That was it just makes you just kind of look through the history of the Grizzlies, and that's what I've been trying to do. But all right, let's go ahead and move past that, and let's kind of wrap up the show a little bit. We're already over an hour, but I want to get your thoughts on the guys that left.
Yeah.
Just real quick, and we'll kind of go through these. And if anybody has any questions in the comments we want to get to, by all means, let's go ahead and hit on Xavier Tillman. Thoughts on X leaving and kind of what he's going to look like in Boston.
Yeah, man, I think it's going to be interesting. I was asking some guys today, what does he do for the Celtics in terms of a postseason run, right? Like, does he help? I'm like, yeah, of course he's listen. The Celtics have what we want, what the Grizzlies want in terms of a role player that comes off the bench, right? Like, they have a guy who can contribute, and X was getting way too many minutes here, right? Like, he's more effective in that off the bench role. And I just wonder, like, he does everything well, right? Like, except for maybe corner threes, but like, he does everything well. Like, he's a fantastic defender, can rebound the ball. He doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. And so for a team like Boston, who's probably not, his usage rate is going to go way down when he's in Boston. That's great, man. Like, I think he's going to be effective in that role. Now for the Grizzlies, and I am not you, I'm not Sean Coleman, I'm not, Mark King. I don't know the ins and outs of the salary cap and the, all the implications of those things. But, I do know, hey, listen, he's leaving after this year anyway. So either you trade him and get something in return, or you just let him go.
Yeah.
And that, in my dumb brain, makes sense to me, right? Like, hey, get something for him. And I feel like they got a good return on just what his value is, I think, for the Grizzlies. So good on Xavier Tillman, man. He was a consummate pro here in Memphis, and I really, like, once the postseason starts, I'm going to be rooting for Boston to go and win the whole thing.
Yeah. No doubt. And one thing I'll say, just across the board, look at where these guys went to. If you look at X, he's going to Boston, a really good team. Roddy going to a really good team.
Phoenix, yep.
Yeah, like those two guys, where they're shipped to, they have a real opportunity. And even Adams, it is what it is. But that move was mainly out of, we need to make sure that our locker room is good.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but also we need to make sure we do a good job of getting off of the money. So we set ourselves up financially. I think that was understood across the board. But X was a great guy. He's going to do really well in Boston. And
I think so too. Yeah.
You want to know why? You can pass the ball to Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
And you can just kind of get out of the way.
Yeah.
Look at Luke Cornett, what he's doing right now. He's a nobody.
Right.
And he is getting minutes. Xavier Tillman is going to do really, really good. And he's going to be, I think he's going to be set up really well in Boston. And I don't know if he'll come back to Memphis, but I really do think that the Grizzlies took care of him, sent him to a good spot, because I guarantee they had many of other places that were asking about him because of what they had to give up to get him. A couple second rounders. It is
and an expiring contract, right?
Like, you can get that anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think is there any shot that Boston decides to extend him, or they try to extend him? I know he's unrestricted, right? This year.
Yep, he's unrestricted. So yeah, I don't know about extending him. You don't know what you have in somebody. I don't know if it's worth it, especially coming off an injury. I don't know if you would do that. Yeah. But also, if I was a guy like Xavier Tillman, I wouldn't extend. For the simple fact is, you might actually play really well with them and go very far in the playoffs. and that drives up that price tag.
You might parlay that into an actual actual legitimate contract, right? Like I know one that can, make him some real money.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I agree. The Roddy situation, I think he's set up, dude. People hate on Roddy, and I agree. The dude was playing way over his head right now.
Yeah.
But when you put him with really good players, I think he's going to be fine. What Roddy's going to do in Phoenix is he's going to pass the ball to some guy named Kevin Durant, a guy named Bradley Beal, and then Devin Booker. And he's going to say, I'm going to get out of the way and stand in this corner.
Right.
And then when you throw me a grenade, I'm going to chunk it up so you don't have bad shooting percentages. And I might hit a couple a game. That's it.
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
then go get random rebounds and get a steal, get out on front just to kind of push. And so those older guys don't have to do all that dirty work.
I have a theory on basketball lineup construction, and that's that these guys are so talented that they can actually do multiple things and do them decently well, right? But it's when you can get a roster that is everybody's in their right position, right?
Exactly.
Where they're not being kind of stretched and kind of taken outside of their comfort zone. And that's what Roddy is going to experience right now. Like he was, you said it on the trade deadline show today that, his usage rate is going to go way down, obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that might be some of the issues that the Grizzlies saw with him, is that he was just used in ways that he should never have been used. And so he's in a great position, man. Like I think I'd like to go play with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. I'll sign up for that.
Yeah, and he's definitely closer to where he went to college at, in Colorado, and so he's there for sure. Answer this question. King Mix wants to know who's going to get more playing time, Roddy or Tillman. Let's go only regular season with these questions.
Oh, regular season only? Roddy.
I kind of think so too, because I think they're gonna keep Tillman as what he is.
Yeah.
I think in the playoffs you're gonna see Tillman get more minutes.
I think Tillman will get more run in the playoffs. Yeah. I think he might actually contribute in the playoffs, honestly.
Yeah. All right. If you had to give me your best trade out of the three, we have the Adams, Tillman, and then Roddy. Which one is your favorite? If you had to say just total, like, hey, this is my number one. This is one I like the most. Trade package that we got back. Pretty much, you're looking at what we got in return.
So there's a symbolic reason and an actual trade package reason. I think it's the Adams trade in both, right? Like I think for me, symbolically, it showed me what the Grizzlies are going to have, or what they're trying to do, right? Yeah. Like it kind of set the path forward. Like we've been talking, it's been all over the BCM airwaves for the last couple of weeks. Go get Claxton, go get this guy, go get this guy, and the Grizzlies are like, no, like it might happen, but there's some real serious work that has to be done before we can commit that kind of money to could turn the Grizzlies into a championship contender, right? Yeah. So to me, symbolically, it was more the Adams trade than any of them, because it was like, oh, okay, this is what they're doing. Like, right? Like we know the direction that the Grizzlies are headed in, and it makes you go, I can get behind that, right? Like we've had issues. Grizzlies Twitter has had issues for a long time with, Kleiman and some of his drafting and all that kind of stuff. and I just think you saw kind of a plan of action moving forward, right?
Right.
Them not standing pat with what they have. And so that to me symbolically, now in terms of the return, aren't they all kind of the same?
They are. Yeah.
Is it the money? I mean, are we talking the money? Like if we're talking about getting contracts off the books, then Adams was making a lot more money than anybody else. So I would say the Adams trade, just in terms of the finances, it would be getting off of the Adams contract, and they all kind of got the same thing in return. Right.
Yeah. Listen, I agree. I think what we're getting back for, Adams definitely helps for sure. But I think overall, I think it's the Tillman trade, just for the simple fact that you get off of a guy that people want it, but let's just be honest. He's going to be a filler.
Yeah.
But you got off of a guy that you were going to lose for nothing.
Right. And got something.
Yeah. You didn't have to make the other trades. You didn't have to.
It's a great point.
The Tillman you had to make, and you made it. Instead in the years past, bro, we would have just kept him on the team and done something stupid and then just lost it for nothing. Just trying to keep him. That's not what we are. So not a big fan of that.
Totally agree. Can I change my answer?
I guess.
All right, Tillman trade. I agree with that. Totally.
All right, so I'm trying to do this. These Patrick Mahomes rush attempts, and they cannot be combined with anything else.
Why?
I don't know. I'm gonna keep working this up. This will probably be something that if you're in the Discord over at Bluff City Media, I'll put it in the Discord channel for sure at Grizz 901. I'm gonna keep working on this, and then whenever I get it done, I'm gonna tag Driving the Line. I'm gonna tag AB and Coach, and then we're gonna put this in there and put it all together. We might have to change our answers because for some reason the books aren't allowing us. DraftKings won't let me at all. Like it just doesn't have it an option. FanDuel is being angry about it. They won't let me combine some of these, and so it's being weird. And I know what I'm doing. That's the bad thing is I actually know what I'm doing. Unfortunately, maybe unfortunately. All right, so
You're a veteran on those apps, is what you're saying.
At the app. All right, so a little programming note is the game is Saturday against the Hornets. It's a 6:00 local game. It is out in Charlotte. We are not going to do a show. We haven't been doing weekend shows. This is the only weekend, another weekend show for the rest of February. And so we looked at that and we saw, you know what? There's no reason to do a show. I'm actually taking my wife out on a date, so it's going to be a good time for us. But we are going to try to do a Valentine's night, the Rockets game on Valentine's night. I would imagine my wife's asleep, Nate's as well, but potentially. We're probably not doing anything big on Valentine's Day. So we should be good for the rest of the month, just so everybody's completely clear. But not doing a Saturday game, I don't think it needs it. It's the Hornets; they suck. The Grizzlies, we suck. So why are we, going to go off to a kind of a sock fight over here?
Don't blame you. Yeah,
but that's it. So make sure you stay tuned in. Go over and check out Driving the Line. They've been awesome, and it's always a good time. But the other thing I want to make sure we do is we don't want to miss out on these opportunities, and that is for Pew's Residential Spray. Valentine's Day is coming up. Go over, and if you need flowers, go to Pew's. I promise you they will always do good. They've been around for 30-plus years, servicing the Mid-South from whatever you might need, whether it is commercial landscape maintenance or the flower shops. They also now do the residential lawn care. Pew's Residential Spray can take care of all your weed control and fertilization needs. If you want to create that perfect weed-free lawn, then call Pew's Residential Spray today and get a free estimate, 901-633-2118, and let them know that the Grizz 901 crew sent you. And remember, with Pew's, you get that big company streak, small company values. And our other guy, make sure you get in the pre-orders. You don't want to miss the last day to get pre-orders for Valentine's Day with Heaven's Healthy Kitchen is Monday. And on Monday's show, I will be eating the food live on the show. I'm going to have a little bit of a taste of everything. And so I'm going to tell you which is the best. Put in your pre-order that night. So come in, tune in Monday. But it is a grassroots business started right here in Memphis by Chef Smith, who is a Memphian that promotes healthy eating and wellness. If you're looking to cook at home, go get Chef Smith Cookbook. It's on Amazon. You can download it today. But Heaven's Healthy Kitchen continues to do the monthly pop-ups, and the next one is going to be Wednesday. That is Valentine's Day. Make sure you get your Valentine's order put in by Monday at the latest. You can go over at orderhhk.com and put that pre-order in. But they've been serving and catering plant-based and vegan gourmet foods straight to you. They're doing it. Make sure if you're in Memphis, don't miss it. It's going to be great. All right, that's it. I forgot about those. It's been a crazy day. The trade deadline was nutso, just in general. But then having Coach and AB on, Coach emailing me, I don't know if I can get on the show. My kid has golf. What should I do? And I'm like, wait, hold on. What time? And he's like, I can't do it at 9:30. I'm like, that's fine. Let's push it back. And so I think they ended a little bit faster. And what is it? 7:30 his time.
Yeah.
It's right in the prime time that we brought him on. So I want to shout out to them. But Kenny, it's been fun, man. It's
been fun,
a good
man.
time.
Thank you.
Anything you got before the Grizzlies besides your Christmas wreath before we get out of here?
No, man. Just hey, let's enjoy this time, man. I think Anthony Sain said it perfectly, man. He's very chilled and relaxed. Let's not take this whole thing too seriously right now. Let's enjoy what we're seeing out of Vince and out of Gigi and seeing Jaron continue to emerge. And
root for Nick Claxton when he signs for the signs with the Grizzlies in the offseason.
Absolutely. Well, Sane is live tomorrow at noon, so make sure you go check him out. Daily Grind follows him out up at 1 o'clock. They are still doing a show, I do believe, even after this long show, trade deadlines. They're live at 1 o'clock. And then the $2 sports show at 3 o'clock on Friday.
Let's go.
Always a good time with Drew and Rusty, so make sure you tune in. Listen, that's a full day.
It's a full day. Today was a
Hopefully-
full day.
Yeah, yes.
It's been a
always
full day for all of us.
It's a good time. All right, that's all we got. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. But, man, I can't thank y'all enough for hanging out, asking the questions, filling up the comments as you always do. There's nothing else to say. But be nice and tell your friends.